I never thought I'd find myself sitting here, telling this story, but I suppose now is as good a time as any to finally speak the truth I've kept buried deep for so many years. It all started with that one moment, the moment I believed I had someone. Someone who loved me enough to see me for who I truly was, not just what I looked like or what I could do. I was young then, full of hope and dreams, a woman who had fought her way up from nothing to earn a place in the world, a place where my voice mattered. I built my life around that belief, that trust, that fragile hope that love was real, that it would last. I'd had everything. Recognition, a career I was proud of, a partner I thought I could rely on. But then came the day that shattered it all. I found out the one I loved, the one I'd given my heart to, had used me for his own gain, had taken my name, my talents, my very soul, and traded it all for fame and fleeting applause. I watched him stand on that stage, smiling, holding that award he never truly earned, while I was back home, shattered, betrayed, and silenced. I had trusted him with my heart, and he had used me like a tool, a stepping stone, a secret weapon to climb higher. I learned later, much later, that he had recorded our private moments, those tender, honest times we shared without my knowledge, and used them to blackmail me when I refused to stay silent. That night, I felt my world turn to ash. My reputation was methodically destroyed, my voice drowned out by whispers and lies. They called me irrational, emotional, unstable, things I was never accused of before. All because I dared to stand up for myself, to say no, to say I had been used and betrayed. I sank into grief, into shame, into the kind of anger that eats away at your soul. But I also began to see a way out, a way to turn my pain into power. I started to watch, to listen, gathering pieces of their weaknesses, like a spider weaving her web. I whispered half-truths into the right ears, planted seeds of doubt, and exploited the cracks in their fragile alliances. I knew their secrets, their lies, their greed, things they thought no one saw. I waited patiently, my hands trembling, but my mind sharp as a blade. The moment came unexpectedly, in a place I knew they would all be caught off guard, an industry gala, bright with lights and false smiles. I dressed carefully, blending into the crowd, watching as they flaunted their success and basked in their illusion of control. I moved through that room like a ghost until I reached the heart of their gathering, where I finally revealed what I had uncovered. I exposed their treachery, their lies, their false facades, and watched as everything they thought was secure crumbled around them. The scandal broke like a wave, sweeping over them, pulling their false crowns from their heads. They scrambled, trying to salvage what was left of their images, but it was too late. My quiet revenge had done its work. I watched them stumble, humiliated and exposed, while I slipped away unnoticed, cloaked in the shadows of their chaos. They never knew that I was behind it all, that I had orchestrated their downfall from the very beginning. I stayed in the background, my heart heavy with a strange mix of relief and loss. I had finally taken back what was mine. But in doing so, I also lost something irreplaceable. My sense of innocence, my trust in the goodness of people, and a part of myself I once believed in fiercely. Now, I walk away from that life, from the fame and the false smiles, into a quiet place where no one knows my name, where I can forge a new path, free from their shadows. I have no illusions left about the world or about people, but I do know this. Sometimes the greatest strength comes from the quiet, unseen resolve to right what is wrong. I sit here in the dim light of my small home, my hands trembling as I write these words, knowing that my revenge is complete, but my soul has paid a heavy price. Yet, I also understand that true power is not in their ruin, but in my ability to reclaim my story, to redefine who I am beyond their lies. I have learned that sometimes the only way to survive the darkness is to become the darkness itself, to turn betrayal into a shield and pain into a weapon. I do not regret what I have done, for it was born from a lifetime of silence, of suffering, of being pushed aside and ignored. What I regret is the innocence I once lost, the trust I gave so freely that was shattered beyond repair. But now I see clearly that sometimes a woman must become her own hero, even if it costs her everything she once held dear. The truth is, I am free now, though the price was high, and I will carry this secret and this victory quietly, knowing that I have finally reclaimed my dignity in a way they could never take from me. If you listen closely, you might hear my story in your own heart, and perhaps you will understand that sometimes the most powerful thing a woman can do is to rise from her ruin and become the architect of her own revenge. So if this story moves you, if it awakens something hidden inside, please like, share, and subscribe, because even in silence, a woman's voice can echo through eternity.